Okay. Lawyer hat, lawyer things. Brett Sorsby, what in the world is going on in this situation? To catch you up, Brett Sorsby, back in April, was found to have been gambling, period, okay, such that he had an addiction to gambling, and specifically he gambled on Indiana football games while he was a member of the Indiana football team. Coming out of that, his eligibility was revoked by the NCAA permanently because he gambled, and there's a hard line in the sand around gambling. Texas Tech appealed. They lost their appeal. No, Texas Tech sought to get him reinstated. They were not successful. They filed an appeal. They also were not successful. So Texas Tech is done, and Sorsby cannot play. Sorsby determines that he is going to file a lawsuit against the NCAA to force them to give him his eligibility back, to get a preliminary injunction to prevent them from forcing their eligibility rules against him as it pertains to gambling. He brings the suit. To everyone's surprise, the court rules that he wins, NCAA loses, and that he is eligible to play football this coming football season. Everybody and their mama is mad about it. Okay? Because that was a bright line in the sand, and there was no dispute among anybody in college sports that gambling was a thing that you did not do. And if you did it, you were done. Okay? So, Sorsby is out of his inpatient treatment. He is back on campus, and Texas Tech is developing a return to play plan for Sorsby. Okay? The Texas Tech athletic director, Kirby Hocutt, said, "This situation is hard. It's new, and there's no perfect answer. The system we're operating within is binary, but the situation is not." Okay, let's call out foolishness when we see it. The situation is hard, but really it's unfortunate. It's not hard, it's unfortunate. Okay? It's new that he was victorious getting reinstated with his eligibility. And there is a perfect answer. They just don't like the answer. The perfect answer is if you gamble on your own team, you are done. That is the answer. And that is the perfect answer, and they just don't like the answer. So, we're not buying these comments. I respect the fact he said it. We're not buying them. Now, he goes on to say that they're standing up systems for Sorsby's clinical care, device monitoring, financial oversight, and outpatient therapy. I'm just curious whether Texas Tech extends all these resources and support for all their students that might have an addiction of some sort. I'm just curious about it. In any event, the Big 12 is mad, as is all of college football. Okay? But the Big 12 is the only ones really in a position to do something about it at this point. And so all other 15 universities in the Big 12 are opposed to the Red Raiders playing Sorsby. Okay? And so the Big 12 has a bylaw 3.6, that allows a supermajority of disinterested board members to sanction another member's athletic program if they determine that that program has engaged in any action or course of conduct materially adverse to the best interest of the conference. And certainly, in everybody's mind, gambling on your own team is a materially adverse matter that is not in the best interest of the conference. Now, Texas Tech will also tell you Sorsby has never played a game in a Texas Tech uniform. Not that it is meaningful to this conversation, because y'all gonna let him play, right? Okay. So, Big 12 wants to sanction, because they have a supermajority, they want to sanction Texas Tech with whatever penalty they feel appropriate, whether that be suspending Sorsby, whether that be saying we're not going to play Texas Tech in any athletic competition, whether it's just football or all of the sports or something in the middle. So the Big 12 has discretion. And because the Big 12 has discretion, and this would be catastrophic for Texas Tech, the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, decided he was going to hop into the fray anyway. So Texas Tech has already said, if you do this Big 12, we're going to sue you. Okay. Now the Attorney General from Texas said, I too am going to sue you because invoking bylaw 3.6 is, according to the Texas Attorney General, unlawful and will subject the Big 12 to substantial liability. So why is he saying it's unlawful? He's saying it's unlawful because he says that a sanction against Texas Tech for acting in a manner consistent with the preliminary injunction order would be a per se violation of federal and state antitrust laws, in addition to breach of contract and tortious interference with Texas Tech. I don't know if that's true or not, but the letter was strong. Okay, now, Paxton says, we coming for you, and here are the grounds that we're coming for you. Then the Oklahoma Attorney General jumps in and is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I think his name is Gentner Drummond. Okay, so he, the Oklahoma Attorney General, supports the Big 12's ability to impose sanctions, saying that Paxton's threats are meritless and facially absurd. Okay, so this is where it's fun to be a lawyer, because you get to say crazy stuff and somebody gets to call you out for saying crazy stuff. I don't know if Ken Paxton, if his threats are meritless and facially absurd, but he said it in the same way that I don't know if this is a per se violation of federal antitrust and state antitrust laws. But they've said it both. So lines are drawn in the sand. Okay? So Drummond argues that the injunction only applies to the NCAA and it should not limit the flexibility of the Big 12 from suspending Sorsby or engaging in some other sanction activity at Big 12's discretion. Okay? He, the attorney, Oklahoma AG, says that the Big 12 is a private association that can adopt and enforce its own rules. That sounds correct to me. But I don't know who's right on the law. Okay? And it is quite possible that there is some rightness to both of their arguments, and you just have to sort it out in the end. Okay? So I don't know. But certainly the Big 12 is not feeling this. So we'll see if they back down. Now, along the way, because this is the gift that keeps on giving, everybody's getting involved. Texas Tech has put a video out. They've done all kinds of things. So the Texas Tech University president, Lawrence Chovanec, I believe, acknowledges that Sorsby made a mistake and says that mistakes have consequences, though I'm struggling with the consequences. Okay. But a young man with a dream and a vision to pursue a career and not getting his shot is unfair and unjust. So I'm going to let you sit with that for a minute. Do we know how many things in life are unfair and unjust, and that's just a part of life? Especially when you bring the unfairness and unjustness on yourself? Okay. So this essentially says, and I have heard this argument made for some people, but the lion's share of people do not get to benefit from, he made a mistake, but oh, he has such dreams. We should not deal with the mistake and just let him have his dreams. Okay, so I'm looking for the actual consequences that the president Chovanec is talking about. Setting up systems to help you be successful in recovery is not a consequence. Those 2 games, I'm sorry. That's not a consequence when you did the one thing that nobody can do in a sport and that no one has ever been given this ability to pursue their career after gambling and against their own team. So I just think that, it's very interesting that this one individual gets a pass to pursue their dreams when that is categorically unavailable, that every other person that has been similarly situated has been able to do. So I'm going to close. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a Trekkie. I love Spock. I love Kirk. I love all of them. And I just recall what Spock said a long time ago in Star Trek II. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And then Kirk chimed in, or of the one. This issue is far bigger than Sorsby getting his shot. He had his shot and he blew it. I don't know why he gets a mulligan on this. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. As always, let me know what you think.